Mild brain injuries can change your whole life. There's an area of the brain called the temporal lobes that sit behind a very sharp bone that after an injury often damages this part of the brain. It's probably one of the most important things we've learned from doing scans, is that brain injuries matter.
These SPECT scans clearly show the effects of substance abuse or other toxic substances on the brain's activity.
Well, the scans don't lie. What we find is that people who use drugs, who use alcohol, damages brain function. What we see is this overall decreased activity in the brain from substance abuse. Well, the good news is that if you stop using, your brain may get better. We've seen a lot of healing take place in brains that have been damaged with drugs and alcohol.
Different types of anxiety and depressive disorders.
The result was incredible. Finding that it is just anxiety and it can be controlled, that it was not just one particular thing, but a combination of things, past, and present, getting help so that the sky wouldn't fall anymore.
Different types of ADD.
When we first got the scans, it showed that that my son really truly did have ADD, which is something that was always overlooked because all the testing that we had done, it was always inconclusive. I just felt that it was so important that I had the correct diagnosis to help him become a better student. And it just showed, wow, that is what is happening with Kenton. The more he's trying to focus and concentrate, the worse it becomes and the less information that he hears in the classroom.
Autism, learning disabilities, even marital problems.
What we find is most couples want to get along, but when there are chronic problems in the relationship, one or both of the partners may have brain problems that no one is aware of.
And although the Amen Clinic evaluates individuals, their work may have much broader significance.
Kip Kinkle was a 15-year-old boy in Springfield, Oregon, who murdered his mom and dad and then went to Thurston High School and shot 22 people the next day. He was one of the early school shooters. And based on our work, they scanned him at the University of Oregon, and what they found is that he had a serious deficit in his left temporal lobe, a part of the brain that we often associate with violence.
It's something that's extremely irregular in my brain. I can kind of seek that out, and I know I see that this is kind of what I have to deal with.
What I would recommend you do before that is a little bit of a mood stabilizer. We use anticonvulsants for that purpose, and maybe just a little tiny dose. Stabilize the activity in your temporal lobes, which should help your mood be more even, less dark thoughts. Just feel like you're on a more even keel.
So yeah, it's clear. It's very clear. I see it now, I see it and I know.
The Amen Clinic is at the cutting edge of psychiatry, integrating information and experience with practice, designing tailored treatments to suit individual needs from many proven options. While SPECT alone is not a cure, Dr. Amen urges the medical community and the public to regard brain imaging as a graphic tool to empower and inform potentially life-changing decisions.
After I got the information, wow, there's some resolution, there's some end in sight, there's something I can do to help cure these feelings.
He went from disaster to success. So I was really grateful for the brain scans and for the correct diagnosis.
And after we took him to the doctor that they recommended, like night and day. They targeted the right medicine along with what he was taking, and he's calm, his grades improved, he's able to sit through his classes, he's able to read for longer periods of time, so it's been amazing.
And that people could see my son for who he really is, and that he could understand his own learning himself.
And, oh, there's hope every day.
The Amen Clinic is busy refining the window into human behavior, continually proving that seeing is believing. When applied for diagnosis and treatment, this technology gives the world of psychiatry and mental health an invaluable tool to actually see what is going on in the brain, the hardware of the soul. When your brain isn't working right, it's hard to be your best. Truly, the technology used at the Amen Clinic gives an expanded meaning to the word insight.
Based on our work, what we've realized is that you now have a choice. And the question really becomes is, which brain do you want? Which life?